I've been a registered nurse for over a decade, and in that time, I've seen things that defy explanation. But nothing prepared me for the events that unfolded during my tenure at a small town hospital in the Midwest. It was a modest facility nestled amidst rolling hills and dense woods, the kind of place where everyone knew each other, and the hospital served as both a medical center and a community hub. I had recently transferred there, seeking a quieter environment after years in bustling city hospitals. My first few weeks were uneventful. The night shifts were calm and the staff was welcoming. However, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The hallways seemed darker than they should be, and there was an eerie stillness that settled over the building after midnight. One night, around 2:30 a.m., I was making my rounds when I saw him for the first time. A tall figure, dressed entirely in black, standing at the end of the hallway. He wore an old-fashioned suit, reminiscent of the late 19th century, complete with a wide-brimmed hat that cast his face in shadow. I called out, thinking it was a visitor who had lost their way, but he didn't respond. Instead, he turned and walked into one of the patient rooms. I hurried after him, but when I entered the room, it was empty. The patient was asleep, and there was no sign of the man. I dismissed it as a trick of the light or perhaps fatigue playing tricks on me. But then it happened again and again. Each time, the same scenario. The man in black appearing silently, entering a patient's room and vanishing without a trace. What unsettled me most was the pattern that emerged. Every patient whose room he entered would experience a sudden decline in health shortly after. Some passed away within days. It was as if his presence was a harbinger of death. I confided in a senior nurse, hoping for some rational explanation. She looked at me with a mixture of sympathy and fear. "You've seen him," she said, "the man in black. You're not the first." She went on to explain that over the years, several staff members had reported sightings of the same figure, always during the night shift, always silent, and always preceding a patient's death. Some believed he was the spirit of a doctor who had died in the hospital decades ago, unable to move on. Determined to find answers, I delved into the hospital's history. Records revealed that in the late 1800s, a physician named Dr. Jonathan Black had worked there. Known for his dedication, he had succumbed to a deadly epidemic while treating patients. His obituary mentioned his distinctive black attire, which he wore as a sign of mourning for the lives lost under his care. Could it be that Dr. Black's spirit still roamed the halls, bound by guilt and duty? One particularly stormy night, the power went out, plunging the hospital into darkness. As I navigated the corridors with a flashlight, I felt a sudden drop in temperature. Turning a corner, I came face to face with the man in black. This time, he was closer than ever, and I could see his face, pale with hollow eyes that seemed to look through me. He raised a hand, pointing towards a nearby room. I hesitated, then entered. The patient inside was in distress, their vitals plummeting. I called for assistance, and we managed to stabilize them. When I looked back into the hallway, the man was gone. From that night on, I began to see his appearances differently. Perhaps he wasn't a malevolent spirit, but a guardian of sorts, alerting us to those in need. His methods were unsettling, but his intentions might have been noble. I continued to work at the hospital for several more years, and while the sightings became less frequent, they never ceased entirely. Each time, I heeded his silent warnings, ensuring that patients received immediate care. To this day, I can't explain what I saw, but I know that the man in black was real, and in his own way, he was watching over us.